Hey Nicole, it's Matt here from Henry Shine. So I understand you're feeling a little bit confused. So now I will say I'm always learning, and I think that I always take pride in whatever gets thrown my way. I always go out of my way and try really hard to try and learn whatever it is that I need to know then and there. So I made some phone calls today. I knew about and I'd heard about NT trading. I had spoken to, I think it was Joel from NEOS about NT trading. So I know that NT trading make a milling part that goes into the VHF Z4 mill, and it holds like titanium abutments. So the Z4 that you're getting, it will mill titanium abutments, it will mill zirconia, it will mill EMAX. So basically, it will mill everything you throw at it. But to do those NT trading tie bases, well, that's the tie base side isn't built into the Trios software, so it's built into the lab software for a custom titanium milled out tie base. So you're creating the emergence profile. You're kind of creating this custom abutment, right? So that is in the 3Shape software in the lab side. So that's quite complex, and as well, when I say it's quite complex, it's generally 9 out of 10 times practices don't want to go down that way because it's the lab software is, a bit more of a learning curve, a lot more of a learning curve than the Trios software. So for me, in my head, I was thinking NT trading, custom, abutment, tie base, lab software, and I didn't really want to go that route. When I spoke to, obviously, the guy from NEOS, and he mentioned that, after I spoke to him and I spoke to Zoe as well, I also spoke to Richard from 3Shape. So Richard used to work for NEOS as an implant company. So he knows NEOS obviously much more than what I do. So when he explained NT trading to me rather than Joel from NEOS explaining it, Richard kind of improved on the knowledge that I had, and he mentioned that NT trading's like an aftermarket system that you can get. So essentially they make a tie base and a scan body for almost every system. So it means that you don't have to use the manufacturer's workflow. And in your case, the manufacturer has released their tie bases to the lab side. They haven't released it to the 3Shape Trios side yet. So there is, as I said, there's a workaround, and I'm going to show you the workaround tonight. But I'm just going to explain, so hopefully you understand a little bit better about how I came to this today. So XYZ sell NEOS tie bases. So you can buy them. They're an NT trading tie base, but they fit over a NEOS implant. So you can get the NEOS / NT trading tie base, and you can also get an NT trading scan body. So I think the scan body is about $70. The tie base is about $60 is what XYZ said. So they're going to shoot me through some details in an email, hopefully tonight. I'll forward them through to you when I do get them. But essentially, by using the NT trading in the 3Shape Trios software, that's how you can do your implant crowns all in-house. So if I were to come into, I'll just quickly show you the platforms that are currently in there. So I'll just get out of here and I'll come into more, settings. And then if we come down to Implant Studio and Implant Library. So these are all the platforms that you can choose from to place an implant from. So you can see there's heaps. Obviously, I've got NEOS in there. It's up to date. So really easy. Also, Stecco is a sleeve that you can use with the NEOS. I apologize about my kid. With the NEOS system. So if you wanted, how NEOS themselves only have NT trading, also have, I will say, sleeves in here as well. So NEOS, when we went and did that workflow the other day, they only had a fully guided sleeve. So by having these other ones in here, like your NT trading or your Stecco, it means that you can then use a pilot, which is what we spoke about. So that's the implant placement library that's in 3Shape. You can download any of them. And then if we come into here, you can see abutment design. So download abutment libraries. So in the lab side, see how just down here you can say import abutment libraries. So in the lab side, I can import in a NEOS library. So I can do the full lab workflow. But in here, you can see these are the only ones that 3Shape have got in here at this point in time. So before today, I didn't realize, NT Trading was like an open source tie base. So I didn't realize that NT Trading could be used on basically any of these systems. So, and more as well. So I learned that one today. So that means that yes, you can do in-house crowns in here. So traditionally speaking, now that I've shown you that, I'll go in and we'll do the software. So if we were to do a normal crown, like what I showed you, we do our scan, we do our design, and then it comes in and it sends to the mill up here. So this is our milling option, and we're going to do it that way. So now the 3Shape software is connected into the mill. So the 3Shape's got one side of the VHF software, the VHF mill has the other side of the software, and then they connect. And 3Shape release certain workflows on their side of the software. So to do in-house chairside milling, basically we just go next until we click here. And then now I'm not hooked up to the mill right now, the mill's in the back of my car. But if I were to click here, then our crown that we design here, open existing design, is going to go straight to the mill, no dramas. So when it comes to a implant crown workflow, the VHF mill can also mill out obviously titanium, and it can also mill out obviously a crown with a hole in it as well. So as I said, so this is going to be our normal workflow to do a crown, and then it's going to wait, load into the block, and then hit produce, and that's how we do it. So with the implant crown workflow, we've got the option to do two things. So we've got either the implant that we're placing then and there, which is generally going to be a temporary crown, and then the patient's going to come back, and then you're going to do your finished restoration. So I'll just, because it's still trying to load, and obviously there's no mill there, I just got to get out of here. So coming back in now to today, tonight, we're going to place an implant. So I think this was the first case. So this is our implant placement case. So if you like, I can do a new case just so you see the full workflow. Now I'm going to do it just in-house because we're doing this obviously, milling it in-house. I'm going to choose this tooth, 3/6, and I'm not going to work on perfect placement here, but it's going to give you an idea. So see how I chose that, and that's our implant placement. In abutment, I can now tick this, and we want a screw retain crown, generic, in-house, and STL export, not in group. So I'm going to then click on here, and now you can see it's going to allow us to do, because we're placing the implant today, this is going to allow us to do a temporary crown that we'll be 3D printing on our 3D printer. So this is going to give you a better emergence profile, so that when it comes time and you want to obviously place the next crown, you've got a really nice emergence profile to work with. So from here, we'll do our scans, upper, lower. Now, obviously, I don't have the real case here. I can't scan myself because I'm not getting an implant, but I'll add in the demo scans that we did the other day. So if I just go into C, where is it? C drive, D drive, demo cases. No, not that one. Implant studio orders, scans, tooth. So we've got so it's asked for the lower. Now, obviously, with yours, you're already going to have your scans in here. So it's pretty easy. That's fine. It's just saying that this case has already been imported before. import diacom. So this is now importing in the diacom. So this is where whoever does your diacoms will send you the diacom. We hit select and then it comes into here. So there we go. That's fine. And now we're going to hit next. I'm not going to bother importing in the upper, but you know the workflow. We click over here to import the upper. So I'm not going to extract a tooth. The next step is obviously choosing where we want the crown to go. Now I am going to, on this one, just quickly, ever so fast, just move this crown around. So there, if I did have my upper, obviously I would compare it to my upper. I can do quick contact, so I can hit play to just make sure that I've got the right contact point there that I like. If my upper's in there, obviously if this is going to be my temporary crown, I want to bring that down a little bit. And essentially, let's just bring this down a little bit further down below. So that's fine. That's our implant. That's our crown done. Let's just... oh, no, let's take that back there. Okay, next. So that's our crown. It's going to give us prosthetic, hopefully implant placement, prosthetically guided. So our cone beam comes in, and then we go through all of what I went through before. So we're going to set up where our panoramic curve is. So that's a panoramic curve done. I hit next. The cone beam and our scan merge together. I'm going to hit next. And then obviously from here, this is where we're plotting out our nerves. So I just move this down along here until we get to our orthogonal view. Sorry about my terminology. And then we can start to scroll through here. Start to place our implant, and then once again I like to just come up here, and if I need to adjust this I can use shift and control to enlarge wherever I need to make sure that I'm happy with the position of where my nerve is. So that's obviously oversized now coming through here, but you can adjust bits and pieces as we go. So that's fine. I'm going to hit next, and now I'm coming into the placement of the implant. So once again, I'll apologize for the implant placement that I choose, but so we can choose your NEOS, so no dramas there, so straight or tapered. We can choose our 4.5 and whatever length that we like. So it's placed it in here. So you can see, once again, it's placed our implant. I might decide that I want this further back, change the angulation. Obviously, everything is relating to our crown here as well. So I'm going to hit this little back arrow, and I'm going to close out of this. So that's our NEOS implant chosen. I'm going to choose my sleeve. So you'll notice that in here, we've got NT Trading. So NT Trading have their own sleeves, Pilot, and that's their two Pilot ones. If you wanted to go fully guided, you can use NEOS. If you wanted to do the Pilot, you can do NT Trading. I believe also from what... you can use a Pilot as well of this Deco one, from what the guy from NEOS said as well. But if you did want to try and just keep everything ordering from the one company, I believe sleeves are worth about $10 through, maybe $10 to $15 or something like that to do a sleeve. So for you, if you just wanted to do the Pilot hole, once again, I'll go onto the NT Trading website. I'd order up that Pilot hole sleeve, and then you can see where our implant's coming out. And once again, I can now go next. Now this is our surgical guide. So now if I were to go add, so you're going to, obviously on your implant system, you're going to need to know, what are particular, let's just draw that there. What drill set and what depth and whatnot you're going to be using with that. So it will tell you in the report. So usually I'll be doing a surgical guide that's going further than there, but just so you know, that's just to save time. Obviously, as I mentioned about the viewing windows. So I'm just going to pull that in. So we've created our viewing window there for irrigation. So that's that. and then ID tag. If you wanted your ID tag, we'll hit that, and I'll just do the word 1 and inverted just so that that's in there. All right, so that's all good. So that's our guide done. So you're going to go next. We're going to go show surgical report, approved planning, approval of surgical guide. Okay, yes. So once again, we can go in there and we can view that report. Here, close, eliminate. 2 secs. We'll come back to that. And now once we come in here, so this is our temporary crown. So I can use shift and I can make this larger if I wanted to, so it's in uniform. Making it larger, we can customize it to wherever we like, according to obviously wherever the tie base is. Oh. So this is creating your own, however big you want the emergence profile. So we can make so if we come in down below, you can make this into concave or convex. So you can work your emergence profile. So you're setting this for when essentially you make the end restoration. So coming down, let's just do this. That's fine. And I might just bring this down, and on this one, let's just bring that over this way a little bit. There we go. So that's our emergence profile. Let's bring that down as well. That's our emergence profile on our crown that we're going to run with today. All good. All right, so from here, now this is our NT trading. So these are the ones. So this particular manufacturer, you can see how it comes up with NT trading. So at some stage, NEOS will have their own library in here, but this one NT trading one obviously is going to fit over the top of the tie, over the top of the implant that you're going to need. So that's the NEOS, third-party version. So you can, if I were to eliminate this, so you can see the hex pattern in there, or the pattern in there is to go on the NEOS platform. If I come into, where am I? I'll bring that back, come into the crown. And let's eliminate the scan. So you can see this particular tie base is really easy to use on a mill. So can you see this curved section? You imagine if there was a burr that was coming in, see how it's the shape of the burr? So that means that this platform is really easy to mill in your mill, no dramas. The old, from speaking to the guy from NEOS today, the old NEOS platform didn't have like a locating pin like this. It used to be a big flat section, and it used to be not the nicest fit. So now that's all sorted. So now we're good to go, and we're going to go next. So that's the tie base that you'll be ordering through those guys. Now you can customize this profile as you like, but essentially this tie base here, as I said, you can buy that from XYZ, and that tie base is, they said it's somewhere in like the mid 60s. Byte registration, okay, it's giving me a warning. I didn't bring in the upper, but obviously if I've got the upper in there, that would be there. So you can fit this right now. If I go next, you could fit this into your 3D printer, and now we could print out, okay, do you want to save it? Yes. Now, once this saves, I'm going to open up the folder, and I'm going to show you. So see how it's saved, our screw retain crown, implant planning, and surgical guide. So if I go open folder, all of our drill protocols and everything are all in here. So drilling protocol, come on. So there we go. Something is happening with my PDF reader. It's not wanting to open. Let's change that. Why is that happening? I don't know why my PDF reader is not working now. Nice. Let's open with Adobe. That might help. So from here, so we've got our drilling protocol. So we've got our guide, and we've got our crown. So hypothetically speaking, I can go new, freeform. Now the printer's not plugged up, but let's just, let's go. Let's say if you wanted to use, say one of the resins that you wanted to get would be, say, a crown and bridge resin, whether it be Nextant crown and bridge or something like that. And let's just call this 100 microns. So now if I minimize this, I'm going to bring my crown in, drag it in, platform center, okay. Now I'll just show you one really cool thing. So when I come into here, I'm just going to go options and let's turn off perspective mode, options, and let's go show silhouette disappear. So you can see this now is snapped down to the platform, but if we wanted to, I would be rotating this around the other way. So this particular area here is not going to have anything printed on it. I bring it up and then I add in my supports, apply. So now we can print off our temporary crown that if we wanted to, and close. And you can see right now if I hit play, next, so that's going to be 34 minutes. That's going to take the print out. Obviously it's not connecting to my printer because once again that's in my car. Also, if we do come into this build properties here or build time, so if that resin is if you're paying, let's call it 200 and whatever euro, that's going to owe you, it's going to owe you well and truly under $5 for that crown. You can also stain it up as well if you wanted to, get some OptiGlaze, you could stain that. But that's obviously how you do your temporary crown that's going to allow you to do the, create a nice emergence profile. Obviously you don't want to put load on that as well when you're designing it. So that's that. Obviously, likewise, if I jump back into here, I can go to open folder again. My surgical guide, so that's there. So likewise, if I were to bring that surgical guide into here, you imagine I'm going to do a different print, obviously, with different resin. But, that surgical guide's going to come in here, rotate that around. Let's just bring that in here. So I'll delete that one. We're just going to hit some supports. Okay, apply. Okay, let's try hitting apply when it's selected. So there's our supports, close. If I wanted to as well, I can come into build properties and I'm going to say, hey, not crown and bridge this time. I want oh, sorry, just got your text message. So you'll choose, let's say, Keystone Guide or some sort of guided material, whether it be Nextent or whatnot, or Keystone. Obviously, I've got the Keystone in there right now, or the Nextent. So I'll go, okay, that's fine. And now I'll just hit apply to our new resin. So there we go. So now it's got the build platform or the build style for that resin. And if I hit in here, so that's going to take 45 minutes to do our surgical guide. And obviously you'd print your surgical guide first and then use it on your surgery. While you're doing your surgery, then you can come back in and then get your staff to print the tooth afterwards as well. Whether they want to do some staining with that as well, you do a little bit of light cure staining. I'll just discard that. So that's to give you an idea about when you do the placement, what you can do in terms of a temporary crown. So then the patient's going to go away for however long with their temporary crown in there, in the implant, unloaded obviously, but you're going to create a nice emergence profile. So then after that's done, now this is a case that I've done. Now I don't have a particular case with a NEOS implant, but to give you an idea, so coming in right now, so this is essentially the scan body step. So you're going to scan your upper, lower, and you're going to do a scan with the scan body in there. So NEOS obviously have their scan body, but if we were to use the NT trading scan body, then obviously it's going to pick it up and we can do the full NT trading workflow again. Okay, so when we come in here, obviously we've got all of the different scan bodies through all the companies. So once again, unfortunately, we don't have NEOS in here, but we can use the NT trading scan body. So if we come in here, we can use, you know, whichever one that we're going to do, and you can see NEOS here. So we're going to choose this one. Now, keep in mind keep in mind the test case here that I've got is different to this. So when I choose to line these up, it's not going to align correctly. I'll try a 3-point alignment. So let's just try 1, 2, 3. Let's try 1, 2, 3, just to try and get it roughly in the right position, right? Okay, and is it going to allow me to? So it's really tricky to get the scan bodies to align up, obviously, when they're different systems. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so you can see my demo stops here because I don't have a case with a NEOS or a NT trading scan body. But essentially, let's say when this does align, so if I were to use a scan body that looked like that, I think maybe CamLog have got one that looks similar. Let's try this one, CamLog, yes. Yep, so 1, 2, 3. It's going to allow us to accept that one because that one's close enough. So as I said, on yours, you'll be choosing the NT trading, and then you can go next. And it's going to do our occlusal plane. It's going to try and produce the tooth as best as it can for us. So it's going to create this design that we've got here. So that's all good. If we wanted to change the design there, we can. And then it comes in the next step. And now, once again, this is the emergence profile phase that it's done that. So it's given us this emergence profile. You can play around with that. You can concave it or, you know, convex, whichever way you like. After that's done, we go next. And from here, also we go next, final sculpt. Obviously, you can compare it to the upper and whatnot. And obviously, you want to make sure when you're placing your implant, if you possibly can, you want to have your implant coming out more towards the center or something like that. So this is our crown now done that we can now mill out. So this is our final restoration when they come back. So if I hit next, it's going to now generate this particular folder, and it's going to generate our cam output. Now, with the VHF Z4 mill at this point in time is not next hit mill in this part of the workflow. As I said, this is all still pretty new to their workflow. It will be coming. So right now, this is our crown here. So you can see this is where I've got it here. So I would then come into my VHF mill, which there's 2 different parts to the software. Let's close all of these. That's because my lab software's closed in the background. So if I come into my VHF software, so this is my VHF software. So I start here. I'm going to choose what I'm going to mill it out of. So if you're wanting to mill your end crown out of Emax, you choose Emax, or if you want it out of zirconia, you choose zirconia. So let's say for your case, you might want to do the implant crown in zirconia. We're going to choose this block, and then we basically follow this workflow up here to use the VHF mill. So we just go, we hit plus first to add our block in, and we hit come over here, and we're coming into the software. So this is a path, C drive, and I keep on following the path where this folder is. So if you can see up the top here, C with the hole in it. Okay, so anyhow, so we're going to go next. We're going to choose abutment, and we're going to go next over. So it's going to come on down now. So if this is zirconia has to be done a little bit differently. We've got to add in several supports like so. So that's how we're going to do zirconia. We can look at it from the side. You can also obviously edit and adjust all of these. So if I were to click over here, I can bring that down. So each one I can click on it manually and adjust where I want So that's how those work. If I come in here also, so see how it gives me the option, if there was, say, this is going to be a contact point, you can allow that. So that's then going to, after it's finished milling, this, and this, it's going to then finish and mill off that last point just there, if that's going to be a contact point. So we go next, and then that's going to now come into our mill, and we're going to hit OK, and then it's going to come over to the CNC side, and this is now going to show up on your mill, and you're going to hit play. So if to give you an idea, that's essentially the workflow that you can do. If you wanted to do the chair side, zirconia crown or Emax crown, and you wanted to do it in-house. That's that workflow. So yeah, so that's the workflow and how it all works. And that's the one way that I was saying you can do it that way within the 3Shape software. Now, when it comes to on the other side, so what I was saying to you before, so what it is possible to do. So if I just minimize all of this right now. So if you were to get rid of those errors. So if you were to drag, let's say you designed a crown. So if you did your scan right now, like this, over the top of a tie base. So this is a crown that I've exported in. So I've brought it into basically the same position that the crown is that I've designed in the mouth. So if I come in here into this mesh mixer, hold on, let's go mesh mixer. So if I grab this guy, drag it out there, you can see over here we've got our crown. So what I want to do is I want to make that 2 and a 2. So you can see right now, I don't want this one to be 2. I want that one to be 8. No, that one, 2. Let's just pull that out. So once we've got our this little bad boy, so this is 2 mil in diameter. So if I were to basically bring this up right now into our scan, so this is that free software. So if I were to now align this like so, up to wherever my, tie base or what you could call it, the tie base. So if you were to scan the tie base in the mouth and then design the crown over it, within the 3Shape software, you'll then bring your design, your crown into this software, and then what you can do by using this little bad boy here, we can then, I want to choose my crown first, and then I hit Control, and I hit my mesh object, and then I hit Boolean difference. There we go. So now it's cut out my hole, and this crown right now, that's going to allow for my screw channel. So I can I can't right click on that. I can just highlight my crown, and I can hit export, and I can now export this to, once again, C drive, VHF, and I'll just go new folder, implant, horrible. Implant C for implant crown. So we're just going to export it into here, and we'll call it whatever. Okay, cool. So that's done. So then if you really wanted to, you could also go into, once again, your VHF software. So let's say this time we wanted to do it in Emax. We'll do it in a large block. That's fine. Oh no, that's Zircad. Sorry, wrong material. Let's go Emax over here. Emax in a block rather than a disc. Let's call it C16 size-wise. Height, that doesn't change, and we hit plus. Then we move this across once again. Emax. So this was in C drive, VHF, implant C, and this is our crown. So you can see our crown now is going to come in with the hole in it. So I'm going to hit abutment. I'm going to move it across. Move it across. This crown's actually come in upside down. So what I would want to do is I'm going to come into this feature here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate this around. So you can see green line, red line. So if we go here, that gives you a better idea. So if we're looking at our block in all different positions, so if I wanted to rotate certain things, so you can see I can rotate that around. But let's say if I wanted to rotate on the green line, I'm going to click this one here. Let's just bring it back to the top view. So I'm going to rotate this around. So I want to basically look at it straight up and down so that when I'm looking at the top, I'm seeing the top of the crown. When I'm looking at the bottom, clicking here, I'm looking at the bottom of the crown. So I'm looking at the top now. Now I'm going to go up now that I've set the position of that. So you can see there's a way that you can do it. But obviously, and I do know there's a guy that does do this. But so from here, we want to make sure that our implant drilling hole is okay. So first thing we do, we click in here. I'm just going to move this in, and the software asks us to click on the drilling hole. Okay, you can see that there is our drilling radius of the hole, so it will then produce that. And from here, you can also go into, let's just go back up. Cool, so that's done. So that it knows that, so we can then go next. And now we can add in our sprue, which I'm going to reduce the size of that a little bit. And now I'll do a cut-off sprue. Just rotate that around a little bit and come back in here, get rid of that, and we'll do a cut-off sprue. I most probably prefer it there. Okay, so that's our crown done. That's our drilling hole radius. We're going to hit next. Yes, okay. Bless me. So this is basically sent now to the other side of the mill, and now this is going to process. Now this is our milling strategy, so it's going to mill that. So okay, so essentially that's the workflow to give you an idea of the three different ways. So the last one obviously was the way I was explaining that you could potentially do it if you wanted to get your way around it, which I know someone that is doing that particular workflow to do the implant crowns. But long and short of it, three shape within the trio side do actually have the NT trading tie bases that you can use. So you can actually do everything that you wanted to without needing the lab software at all. So I think overall, I learned a lot by calling up so many people today, but definitely if you did want to organise a webinar with Richard from 3Shape, and he can speak to you about that particular workflow more so as well, obviously being a former NEOS man himself, he knows obviously a lot about the implant systems. So whereas obviously being a technician, I knew a lot about making dentures back in the day. So, but all good. So I'll finish up there. I hope you got something out of the recording, and you could see that it is possible to do those workflows using the NT trading systems. And all good. I'll no doubt I'll speak to you then. Cheers. Bye.